So with that, let's move on to Echo. Now,
at least it was shingles and not like thatched roofs.
you don't end up having to spend an hour picking thatching out from in between Stinky's toes. Yeah.
I already do that in real life with my dirty frog and the moss.
Oh, I love it. So Gail, what now Echo is hanging out mostly with Barnabus, yeah?
Yeah, he did some investigating before the other people came. Like, he was asking around, like, different guilds and stuff, but, like, you know, the real big lead they got was the contact with the fish, and then Yernan.
So after the magical escapades, after getting all the magical items, you sort of head back to the Yawning Portal, where stuff's still kind of getting cleaned up. It turns out they have spare tables and chairs in the back just in case some of them get burned or eaten by acid or something along those lines. This isn't an entirely uncommon occurrence. You make your way back to the Yawning Portal, but Barnabus seems troubled. Like he's always dour, right? He's a dwarven king. He's got a lot of responsibilities on his shoulders, but he seems particularly taciturn after the encounter with the magical merchant.
All right. I mean, once because still trying to lay low-ish, so once we're back in the room that we have at the Yawning Portal, Echo would be like, hey, do you have anything you want to shove in this bag of holding? Because I'm putting most of my shit in this bag of holding. This is great. I don't have to carry around. Like, you can see, like, Echo, like, putting his whole spear into the bag of holding. Just like,
how long is the spear?
It's a normal spear. It's only like the 5 foot.
Yeah. He looks in and goes, I bet you could fit in there.
Yeah, but,
how long do you think you'd be able to stay in there before you suffocate?
That's what it's not, like, it looks like a room in there, but there's no fence.
Do you think it's
magic?
Do you think it's, like, based on physics, or do you think it's some kind of arbitrary number, like 10 minutes or something?
It's, I don't want to find out. Because, I know the specific bag we have to carry Chester in is like, is so that a fish can survive in the bag in water in his little container. Like,
the bag, by the way, now that you're putting stuff in there, the bag isn't infinitely deep. Yeah, it's deeper. How tall are you?
Echo is like 3'3".
So you can't reach the bottom. It is about a 4-foot cube essentially in there. So you would be able to get in there and stand up at the bottom and be able to, like, reach out of it. So it's not infinitely deep, but it is obviously a whole lot bigger than your average sack. And while
the spear is still sticking out, and he's like, huh.
And while you're having this sort of weird conversation about the nature of magical items, which is something that happens quite often, he also mentions, you don't have any other bags like this in the party, do you? Like, this is your first?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what everybody else was getting up to, what they found in the forge, but Calder didn't have anything, didn't bring anything.
Just make sure that you check the warning label. And he turns over a warning label on the inside stitching of the bag. And it says, management is not or the merchant that sold you this device is not responsible for any damage or abyssal shift that occurs after an extra-dimensional space is placed within an extra-dimensional space. Do not stack bags of holding in big caps.
Yeah. No. Marlon told us about that before he sold it to us. He also, like, said this one's a little older, and, like, Echo points out, like, the patches, like, I don't think I'm going to put, like, an anvil or something. I don't think you could carry, like, something super heavy. I don't want to stress it.
So mechanically, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to want you to help me remember this because I will forget.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's an AoE damage effect and you fail your saving throw, there is going to be, let's say, a 10% chance, a 1 in 10 chance that the thing ruptures and everything inside spills out. It's going to be awesome if it happens.
Okay.
So if you and it's going to require you to both fail a save on an area of effect, and it's gonna require a 1 on a D10. So it's not going to be likely, but if it does happen, it'll be amazing.
Okay. So yeah, as Echo was, putting stuff in it, picking it out, like, seeing how big of all of his gear he could put in there or not, he'll bring up the like, so now that we're, working with Kelder, met Kretha, she's cool. Are you okay? Like, I know.
And he looks around to make sure the door's closed and that you're sort of alone, and he goes, Not really. I sent them to the Stone Tooth thinking that it was just going to be a quick in and out, right? Maybe make a map, maybe find out if the thing's still there. I didn't want them to go through what they went through, and I feel like it's my fault. And I know I owe all of them so much, and I know I owe them all their fee, and I'm trying to figure out what amount of gold can even possibly justify what they had to go through.
I'm a little surprised you all didn't like sign a contract at the beginning saying like, in case of death, this much is going to be paid out to the family, because we have to like do that shit at the circus. Like, we are part of a guild. Is there an adventure guild? I'm getting off track. You're right that putting a price on the death of someone is hard, but I mean, that's why we're here in the city instead of marching with your troops, is because we're trying to undo that particular pitfall. Do you really think we can do it? Do you really think we can steal from the Xanathar?
Yes, I do. I got nothing but faith in us. But...
Okay, different question. Do you think we can steal from the Xanathar and not lose anyone in the process?
If we don't get caught, yes. If we do get caught, Xanathar is unpredictable.
I've been thinking about that tournament, and I think it's the safest first play. Because if we go to the tournament and we don't make it big, we still have the option to then later sneak in. But if we sneak in and that gets fucked, everything else is off the table. And I'm here because you asked me to come, and I care about you. But I'm also here because a goddess of adventuring told me to come and do good. So I'm also feeling a bit lost in all this. I mean, if it goes well and we get the item, like, I'm the one who has to use it, right? I don't know if I can even use an item like that yet. I don't know how this magic bag works, let alone how high-level channeling divinity works,
And magic like that always comes with a price.
right? Circling back around to how much gold do you put on a life?
In my time with Durgaden, he gave me an idea of what the Forge is. If we can secure it, if my men and women can take the Forge and we can begin producing off of it, we can become very wealthy very quickly. Would it be crass, on top of whatever other recompense I give, to offer a percentage, a stake, in whatever we produce at the forge. They have more than earned it.
Well,
Or
if
is
they've
that too cold?
I think if they've more than earned it, you're not giving it to them. You're paying what's due. If that makes sense.
Do you think they'd accept that? It would be yet another deferment.
It would be. I think well, I don't know how you be diplomatic about saying, like, hey, I know he died. How much gold do you want to, like, make this right? And I don't think there's a way to be diplomatic about that.
No, I suppose there isn't.
Right? Like, I don't. Maybe nobles have some weird, like, like propriety. Like, this is how you talk about death and bereft,ment, but I don't know. I don't know. Should I ask Calder about that? Should I ask Calder about that when you're not in the room?
Should I be attempting to secure the forge? You've been with me. We've already seen the lives it's cost. It's going to cost more before the end. Do you think that securing the forge is the right call for myself and my clan?
I think it is, because if you don't control it, if your people aren't working it and making these mystical magical artifacts with it, then somebody else will be. And I wouldn't trust just anyone with the power of that forge, but I'd trust you with it, Barnabus.
Yes, I am certain we will succeed in our goals. The only repayment that I can truly make right now, the only thing that can truly make it right, is to give Clarion the choice as to whether he stays in the paradise that he has clearly earned or returns to us. I owe him that. We will retrieve this item.
We will. And we need to do it without losing anyone.
Yes. Anyone else?
That would just be kicking the debt further down, even more so.
He kind of rubs at the scars on his arms from where the roots dug into his skin all those months ago.
Yep.
And he says, so a tournament. Ever the performer, eh, Echo?
I think we've got a great band this time around, and I think we can give them a good show.
You know I can't come along for that, right? My face is already in the paper.
It is such a shame that I will not get to dress you up like a gladiator, but I think I can survive it.
There are many battles to come. Perhaps your fashion sense will be necessary at some point.
We are going to get you in a leather thong at some point. And then
and that's where we're ending that scene.
As I picture Barnabas just turning completely red.
So good.
Like pivoting on his heel.
Oh, no, continue.
Nope. Conversation done, no.
That's what fan art's for.